these big time names right here, big clashes in the middleweight divisions, is talking about, hey, Shara Bullet and MVP. What a matchup. And I forgot that MVP actually called out Magomedov. He said, hey, bro, like, I would like to fight this man. The only thing that I think some people, I'm not going to say forgot, maybe they just never took it into account, but MVP is a welterweight. You know what I mean? This dude had a grappling event for Polaris, walking around at the weight and like, I can make the weight, we'll make it happen. But he's going to be a small 185er versus Shara Bullet, who isn't the biggest 185er in the world, but I think power might be an issue here. AJ, how does it make you feel? The open, Shara Bullet minus 170, one eye and all. The man who doesn't have a ton of UFC experience, but came off of that viral double back fist, you know what I mean, knockout of the year type contender, opens up as a favorite against a dude who has a notoriously difficult style to match on the feet. What do you think about that?
Interesting, Derek. I mean, you can see the recency biases at play over here with these odds makers. Yes, Shara Bullet's an absolute savage. He has moments. He has everything going for him, right? I do genuinely believe that Shara Bullet will be the future of what the MMA sport is looking like, and probably a face of it as well. Well, we're forgetting about MVP. I mean, this guy's been doing it for years, and like you said, not many people have been able to solve that puzzle that is the Venom page. Man, he's able to do things still to this day that people haven't quite figured out yet. And I think the only thing that's going to be stopping him here anytime soon is with the takedowns. And we all heard Shara say it. He's not going to be the one shooting takedowns this time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nobody's figured out the puzzle of MVP who hasn't incorporated grappling, right? So in a pure tit-for-tat matchup, I can see frustration on the face of Shara Bullet trying to get in there and just not being able to be successful. Kind of the same thought process that people had for Kevin Holland, right? They're like, Kevin Holland, not as good of a striker as Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet is a legitimate expert striker right there. I just think that his style is much more kick involved. And I think that MVP, with his weird entries, is going to make him box. I think he's going to relegate him to the hands. He's going to be out of range from the, and then he's going to just stuff him in there where they can just pocket box. And who's got the better boxing? MVP, though, man, I mean, this is just the one issue that you always have. With that creative style, with that innovative style, hands are down a little bit too much for comfort. Shara Bullet hits you with one of those weird ones, you know what I mean, that you haven't seen before, and you just get caught. But what does this mean to you that MVP did say, I'm a fan of the sport before I'm an athlete, which I thought was interesting. But he also said he's been a fan of Shara Bullet, and he knows that double back fist technique, that wasn't brand new. He's been drilling that since kickboxing days, right? So clearly the man had done some homework, and I'm interested to see what he can do with the 6-inch reach advantage right there, man, 79-inch reach. Should be interesting. Give me some thoughts on how this fight actually plays out. Finish, decision, what are your thoughts?
Ooh, that's a good question, Derek. I think if it's a finish, it's a flash KO knockout, right? Somebody just gets caught, it's done. I don't think either of these guys are going to be steamrolling one or the other. I do think it'll be a back and forth, right? A chess match going forward, but two supreme strikers. I mean, both fighters in their own right can hold their own. It's who's going to be controlling in those transitional moments, right? When somebody's throwing and then you're able to hit us or able to find a corner, find an angle to be able to put something actually into motion and then snowball that effect into going. Because if you let Michael Venom Page run away with the tempo and the pressure and the awkwardness that he's able to throw out there, he can just do some work. He can literally have you just taking pictures of watching what he's doing and while you're getting pieced up. Same thing with Shara. I mean, we know that he is also very talented, and it's interesting to see that Michael Venom Page is studying him, man. I'm glad to see that because how old is MVP?
37.
37. Oh, yeah, 37. The 37-year-old, man, is a fan of the sport, looking at it like we do, taking notes, watching his opponents. He's breaking things down. He's going in there sharp.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just think this is another case of the experience, all of that. You got the 15-0 shiny prospect, Shara Bullet, man. He's coming in. He's making a wave. This is UFC Saudi Arabia. Hey, listen, I said that we're going to get into this. You have to remember, and we're going to talk about this with another matchup coming up too, man. If this goes to a decision and it's close, you have to keep into account the home game value that you get for Shara Bullet. So when you look at the line, man, minus 170 was the open for Magomedov, plus 145 comeback for Michael Page. If you look at the live odd, minus 190 for Magomedov, plus 160 for Page. So the line has not moved a lot. That means this could definitely be a close fight in the eyes of the odds makers. And if it's close in the eyes of the odds makers and to the judges, I think that we could see a lean. Just similar, folks. I don't know if anybody caught that PFL fight with Paul Hughes and Usman. Yeah, it's one of the Nurmagomedovs, man, the PFL one, right? It was one where it was a much closer fight than what the score actually was. But look at where the fight took place. Riyadh. Come on, it's something to think about. So I know that's not something that we try to factor too much into it. It should just be a pure matchup, like who gets the better of who. But I do think that this is a fight right here that's also going to have popularity implications. Because what happens? MVP says it. He's like, I can make any striker a wrestler. What happens if Magomedov takes the shot? What happens status-wise?
He drops, especially with how confident Magomedov is going in, saying that MVP is going to be the one taking shots. If Shara goes in there and does that, I do think he hurts his stock a lot, right? Now, I'm not going to say the stock plummets, but the stock drops a hefty amount going forward because he's the young gun. He's the one that's supposed to have all the bravado, the testosterone going into this. He's hungry. He wants what MVP has in, the respect of MMA. But if he's out here just switching up last second and you see him panicked and having to take shots and having to work, I do think a lot of his stardom, if you will, is going to be kind of questionable in seeing how he takes this fight because MVP is a puzzle, man.
Yeah, we'll see it, man. Let me see. Yeah, takedown defense, 75% takedown defense for MVP. So even if it does happen, imagine how embarrassing you shoot and you don't even get the shot. Yeah, that's going to be a bad one. It's kind of like Ian Gary, man. Like he won the fight, but you didn't. If you would have just stood and banged, you know what I mean? You would have got a lot more respect. So, yeah. So, all right, AJ, the play. What is the play here? We're consensus on MVP, right? We said that in the beginning of the program. But when it comes down to how this plays out, in my opinion, stylistically, I just think the puzzle has yet to be solved. The 15-0 prospect isn't going to get it done. I think MVP wins by decision, but I'm not seeing a knockout here.
I'm not seeing a knockout, Derek. It's an interesting part because I've been thinking about this since you said it, right? There's probably, and hopefully not, but there's probably going to be a little bit of hometowning going on if we see a decision right here, right? Even if it's a split decision, whatever the case. So the plus 250 decision does make a lot of sense if you're a Michael Page bettor. I'm almost more inclined to be on that money line, right? That plus 145, whatever the live odd is right now. But if Michael Venom Page can have Shara in those uncomfortable positions, right? Shara's having to shoot. Shara's having to find other ways to get things done. And then he's able to land a couple clean counters on and put a trap in. The knockout could happen. I don't think it's as likely as the decision, but hopefully those big moments lead to have the judges see how the fight actually goes down, ends up the correct winner either way.
Well, with the live odd, plus 160 MVP, I don't think that's a bad price to pay whatsoever right there. I think there's a ton of juice on that line. So we'll call it consensus pick with the dog of the week. We're just going to lock it in. Dog of the week, MVP, baby. Let's go.